Okay guys, so let's get started for deploying to your application to Heroku. Firstly, you have to create a Heroku account and log into it. And since I have logged in already, so it won't ask me to log in or something, it would directly give me to the dashboards. And also since I have 5 applications, so I guess I have to remove one. I'm removing one application because in Heroku you can only have up to 5 applications. So I guess I can remove it from here in the settings. It's of no use anyways. So let's create a new application. The application name needs to be unique, like my express. Let's see if that's available or not. Espresso express. Yeah, that's okay. So let's create the application named express. And since you got the name, you will have the application as express.heroku.com. So let's create a new repository of the same name. The new repository's gotta be the same name, express. And let's create it. As it says, what we have to do, we have to create a new folder and copy this up. So I'm copying this one and initialize as a Git repository. This is the easiest way. You can do it without it as well, but this is the best way to host an Express application. And now paste the link you just copied, and then let's do some changes. First is we are gonna initialize this project as an npm repository and press enter. Now you have to install expressJS, and after it being installed, all you have to do is to create our app.js, which is gonna be our Express application. So let's create our app.js. Since I'm too lazy to just write the whole code out, let's copy and paste any Express example, like the hello world example here, and I'm gonna copy it out and let's paste it. Okay, so now what do we have? We have our node modules folder, we have app.js, we have package.js, and let's try running our app now. That's how we run our app.js, and it is now listening. Yeah, hello world, it is perfectly working as in the hello world example. So it's our sample application. If you want your application to be something like that, this is just an example. You can have all of your application to the name of the app.js. You can just edit the code. So since it's a Git repository, we are going to deploy everything on the GitHub because nothing is there on our repository. It is just yet initialized. So before I start pushing these files to my GitHub repository, I have to ignore this node modules folder because it has it is a directory. As you can see, it's not a file, it's a directory, and it is in much MBs or sometimes GBs of length, so we have to avoid the node modules. For that, I have to create a .gitignore file and add its name. Now I can git add dot git since my branch is development, which is not the default branch of Git, I have to copy paste this. Okay, now as I can reload, and I gotta have it. Yep, everything is in shape. But now it is the time to deploy it to Heroku. So in the deploy section, you have to go to the GitHub, and you have to choose the name of the repository, which is express. Search it, damn it. Yeah, but don't connect yet, because this is an example of the application on localhost. As you can see, listening at localhost, blah blah blah. So we have to make it Heroku like. So there are two things that you are supposed to be doing that are required for publishing your application to Heroku. One is that inside of the app.js, this port is actually, yeah, this port is actually required for localhost, which would be decided by Heroku in our case. So Heroku stores the port number in process.env.port variable. So we gotta have it. And since it not be listening to localhost, we can just omit this line. We don't need it anymore. Yep. So the only change is to add this process.env.variable here. Okay. And another thing is to add a proc file. A proc file is actually, oh sorry, you have to create a proc file. Proc file is actually a file which doesn't have any extension. It's just a proc file and is much used in Heroku. Web is the name of the dyno that task that Heroku runs for starting our application. And how do we start an application, an Express application? By typing node and the file name app.js. That's it. And with just these three, we are our app is just about to complete. And let's push the changes. Herokufied. This app will run in Heroku. Git push. Let's now push. There's a proc file. Oh, proc file needed to be added. My bad. Yeah, the proc file is added. Is one of the most important file that Heroku needs. Okay, so that's it. Our app is completed. Now we can connect it to the GitHub. And since our default branch is development, so we have to just click this enable automatic deploys, and your app is going to be deployed just after any activity it sees. So let's deploy. It will take hardly a minute for your application to get deployed, and it will just happen in an instant, also depending on your internet. Yep, see, deployed in seconds. And let's now view our application. That is X, and as you can see, the hello world is the same as you see in localhost. Now all you can do is to do some changes, like here inside of hello world you can do ask something else. Let's this up. And changes would be just deployed here. The Heroku will automatically detect the